I don't know about you, but when I first started being introduced to oils, I thought they were for people who knew what they were doing. Oil painting can sometimes be seen as one of the most expensive paint mediums to use, but it does not have to be that way. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the budget-friendly ways to get you on your way and really enjoy the process of this beautiful medium. Two things that are really important here, and that is creativity is something that we all need in our lives, and the other is that creativity is restorative, and we do not want to let cash get in the way of us doing the creative things that we really want to do. I have a very simple way of using oils. It's very different to a lot of other people, but I make it simple, I make it affordable, because I know how powerful and beautiful this medium can be for you in your own life. So in a link below, you'll see a document that has all of the materials that I use and also loads of pages of budget-friendly ideas as well. But let's go through some of those now. So there are 6 different categories of things that you need when you start out with oil painting. So let's talk about brushes. Brushes, I'm laughing because I'm not great with brushes. I actually use very cheap brushes because if I used expensive brushes, I would wreck them. Okay, that's just me. Okay, that's just me. Not everyone's like me. Some of you, many of you out there are probably very good at keeping your brushes clean. I move on to the next thing very quickly. I own a gallery, I own a business, and I teach, and so often I find different ways to look after my brushes. But I encourage you to have a go at just finding some brushes like these. If you're in Australia, you can get this set here. I think it's very affordable, around $16, and you get a set. So that's a really cheap way. You can actually go online and some amazing sets like this one here, which you can get for very cheap. And if you do look after them, you actually keep them for quite some time. Often you will see in any of my videos when I'm painting, I'm using those cheap brushes and they've been totally fine. I've been using them for years and years and it still gives a fantastic effect. So the paints, it's interesting with paints because I do encourage you to find some good quality paints. But if you are starting out, there are some really great affordable ways of doing that. And there's this set here, which is the Derwent 24 pack, which has a really good yellow, which is really hard to find in sets. And it's really affordable. I think it's something like $25 or $30 Australian, which is amazing for a set of paints. And they do last. And I've had many students go on and paint amazing paintings with these paints. So it's a really cool, affordable way. The other thing is, if you're just starting out, you might have a painting that has only 5 or 6 colors. You can go and buy those paints that are fairly, really good quality ones, and it's really going to be quite affordable. So you're not trying to buy like 30 or 40 different paints. And on that point is I actually only have, and it's in the download below, but I only have 22 paints that I have all up. And you can start with some of the basic ones of these and then just build on them. So you can have a look at that document below. It's at paintingwithheather.com/first step. So let's get on to the next one, which is medium. So you can buy linseed oil. Easy as. You can buy that very cheaply from even, I don't know, some cheap shops have probably got it. I don't know if hardware stores have that sort of thing, but it's easily done. It doesn't have a drying agent necessarily or a colour fast sort of agent in it, which a lot of the other mediums do, but it totally gets you going, gets you started, and you can have a lot of fun with that to begin with. I actually use this one here, which is an Australian brand. It's Langridge Low Toxic Odorless Medium. That is all I use. I don't use like fat over thin, all the different numbers and all that sort of thing. I make it super easy. I've been painting for years and I've been selling many $1,000s worth of paintings, and no one has ever said, that medium's a bit strange, because it's not. It's an amazing medium. It's very cool. So, and that is very affordable, and I actually encourage you to buy bigger bottles of one that you like. You might get to know a medium that you really like, because if you're from not from Australia, you'll need to source something from Gamblin or something else like that. But buy a bigger bottle so then it will last. But make sure that bottle is airtight. Sometimes I put a bottle inside another glass jar or in a bag so that it keeps it airtight, because it will get thick over time. So that's the medium. Palettes, we almost don't need to talk about these because it's so easy to find. You can use an old meat tray that's clean. You can use a piece of glass. I often use these, which are the paper palettes. I actually throw them in the fire when I'm finished so that I don't put them just straight in the bin. I'm recycling things. Some of my students use wooden boards. but you can use whatever you like. Very affordable. You can buy some baking paper and just attach it to a bit of cardboard. It just has to be waterproof. That's all it is. Don't have to be expensive. You don't even have to buy those pads if you don't want to. So canvases, you can paint on pretty much anything that is waterproof. Wood, on canvases, on linen. You can even buy some paper that is really good for oil paints as well. I was going to say watercolor, but oil paints. There's some really smooth, beautiful papers that you can buy at your office places. I love working on those. But if you're really on a tight budget, you might find that you can go into a recycling place and there might be some secondhand canvases that are sitting there. Or in Australia, we have hard rubbish where people put out things on the side of the road that they don't want. Well, that's amazing. I've had lots of students actually do that and find some really good quality canvases that are just sitting out in nowhere. But if you want to go and buy something and you haven't got a lot of money, you can actually then go and buy some gesso, which is a very thick acrylic white paint or dark paint if you want to buy a different color, and then put that on and then sand it and do it about 2 or 3 coats of that, and you'll come up with a really beautiful surface. The cheaper canvases often are a lot more textured, so it's harder to get the paint to go in. But if you put that gesso on, it's going to be amazing, and it'll be like it's a $100 painting. So the sixth thing is easels and all the other little bits and pieces. There's pencils and little containers and things like that, but you'll see that in the link below. You can find most of those things around your home. When it comes to easels, you don't have to go and buy a massive easel and set up your studio, with everything that you need to start with. If you're using smaller canvas, you can just lean it up against a wall or lean it up against a cupboard or something like that. But you can buy affordable easels. In Australia, we have a place called Marketplace. I think that's all around the world, on Facebook Marketplace, so that you can actually go on there and find some cheap versions of that. Or even again in your recycling place, your secondhand places. Often you'll find those sort of things there. You might find that a friend has one in a corner of their house that they don't even use, so just keep your ears out for something like that. It's great to have one eventually if you're working on bigger pieces at home, but just start out. You don't even need anything to begin. That makes it super affordable too. But you don't have to buy expensive, cleaning fluids and soaps. Just use it. Ordinary hand soap, doesn't matter what brand it is. That's all I use to clean up. There's other things like lighting and an iPad for your images and things like that, but you can build up to that. You can borrow things. You can, only paint during the day so that you've got the sunlight coming in. I'm doing my best here, and it's not just for you, it's for all of my students to not have any excuses to start painting with oils. I don't know about you, but when I first started being introduced to oils, I thought they were for people who knew what they were doing. I thought they were for people who had lots of money, and it was way out of my reach. But when I started, I didn't realize how easy it was, how affordable it was, and of course how incredibly transformative and beautiful the medium is. Not only just to get a beautiful image, but also how it made me feel. So you could probably start out with $40. You could get a white and a black, some cheap brushes and some linseed oil, and find a canvas or buy a cheap pad or something from a cheap shop, and you can start. And there is no excuse then, because I want to hear in the comments below those of you that have used oils, or come back later when you've done it into this video and say, yes, I tried it and it is more amazing and more easier than I thought. I'm here to help you know that oil painting is easy, it is affordable, and it is the most beautiful medium to use. We actually don't get taught in schools because they say it's a little harder to clean up and they say that it's more expensive, but it's not true. It is actually a medium that is easy. So that is it, my friend. Have a look at the download below. There's a link below, paintingwithheather.com/first step. That's the first step in knowing all the resources you need to get going on your painting journey. I'm going to do a little bit of painting now for those of you who might already have all your paints. We can have a little look at this painting, but I'm going to share with you a lot more about what I do, how I do it, and even talk to you as I'm painting next week. So come and join me then. Until then, keep creating, keep using oils and enjoying this medium, and I'll see you later on. So I've got my palette here with lots of beautiful colors on it. So this is my paper palette, and I have a gorgeous little container there that clips on so that it doesn't fall on the floor, because I've had that happen before. So let's get going and have a little play. All right, well, here's the painting here. I haven't actually been painting this for quite some time. I have been working on another exhibition, but I have here a palette with all the colours on it, and my medium in here. I'm using just I don't even know what it is actually. It's a size 1. It's a little bit of medium to start with, and I'm going to do a little bit of painting, but I'm going to talk more next week about this. You can watch this for a little bit, and then we will talk to you next week.